Hi, welcome to Embracing the Menopause Curve. I'm Dr. Nicoletta Mabhena, a medical doctor, epidemiologist, and menopause coach, here to unpack real concerns, real issues, and real solutions, and also build a hub of menopause resources so that women can have easy access to information as they move along their menopause journey. So it's a Friday. Let's kick off our shoes and chill on the couch and just have a short conversation as I start this podcast. So for me, menopause didn't give me a warning at all. It didn't arrive with any knock. It didn't whisper, no calendar invite, nothing. It actually snuck in for me. I couldn't see properly. And then my ears, I couldn't hear properly. I had some skin rashes, itchy skin. It was crazy. And I had palpitations and hot flashes. So imagine you're in front of your executives, you're in a meeting, you're the one who's presenting, and then you start seeing sweat on your forehead. Everyone else is saying the room is cold, but you are saying it is hot and you're just fanning yourself. That's the kind of scenario I was in. And I had night sweats, drenching night sweats. At 2 a.m., waking up, the bed is wet. You think that you've wet your bed, but no, it was just night sweats from perimenopause. I had bad blotting and some abdominal pain. I was having brain fog. I would forget something. I get into a room. All of a sudden, I've forgotten why I was in that room. It was really devastating for me, particularly when you are working with a lot of people, when you have to be the one who's addressing quite a lot of people and you forget things. I gained weight and I had many complaints, complaints of something or the other. When this one heals, another something comes up, joint pains, mood swings. Oh, my kids can tell you a lot about that. So, and then I found myself in a lot of consulting rooms with medical doctors and other, practitioners. I visited a gynae, I saw a surgeon, I saw a psychologist, an endocrinologist, I saw an orthopedic surgeon, an optician, ophthalmologist, dietitian, physiotherapist, because I was really trying to understand what was going on. Had MRI scans, biopsies, but all the results came out normal. And that was baffling for me, particularly as a medical doctor. You would want to see and understand what is going on. Sometimes, you worry about positive results when you have some medical tests done. But at some point, I really wanted something to become positive so that I could understand what was going on and it would pinpoint me in the right direction. But no, all my test results were actually normal. Coupled with the fact that your medical doctors and your friends are saying you're still too young to be in menopause. At that point, it started happening when I was 41, 42. At that point, then in your head, you're also you're also trying not to acknowledge that you are getting older. I guess that's part of the reason why connecting the dots was really difficult, at that point. As it would simply then tell me that youth has slipped away. I was no longer young. So it took a while for me to get to a point where I then knew that I was actually in perimenopause. Then now I'm postmenopausal. But all these things coupled with the non-specific symptoms can be difficult for you to navigate the space and to understand what is really going on, as you can actually see your body changing, but you are not able to understand why and where it's going on to. So this is why I'm here, because I want us to be able to build a community where we can talk about the solutions that we can have, for the symptoms, be it some small symptoms or big symptoms that we can have to address all these issues that we get in perimenopause and of course in menopause, postmenopausal. My colleagues, my medical colleagues say it's also very difficult for them because the symptoms are not clear. you know How do you pull all those things together and then tell someone then that they're in perimenopause and then try and look for solutions around that? It's been noted that perimenopause can actually start from 35 years. So you can imagine what that means for the medical practitioner themselves and for you trying to navigate the space to clearly understand what is going on. So what I want us to do is to have this community where we can talk about solutions. We know women are resilient. Women out there have passed through this stage. Every woman passes through this stage, and some actually found solutions. So why not bring those people on this podcast, talk to them, and then understand what they've done? Be it medical solutions, be it herbal, be it just psychological, spiritual, whatever other women did. Let's try and hear them out and understand, how this can help us as we move through our journeys in menopause. I'll also bring in some experts on the podcast who can shed some light around all this syndromic approach for perimenopause, so that it becomes easy for you when you go see your medical doctors or your practitioners or whoever you're consulting with as you move through your journey. I want this to become a database where it becomes easily accessible. I mean, that's the researcher in me, looking for to make a database, build a database, and it becomes accessible to people, particularly women, as they navigate the space. Just to reiterate that this is not a medical consultation. This is actually a platform where we are going to be sharing information so that decision making becomes easy for you as you consult with your various support systems, during perimenopause, menopause, and postmenopausal. I think that is what is very important for me, and this becomes a hub for all of us to actually then seek and get solutions around what needs to be done, and of course the clarity to actually acknowledge for yourself where you are in your reproductive life. So if you're navigating this transition and you're curious about solutions and what other women are going through, and just or simply just craving a community where you can speak out what is going on with you, yeah, this is your space. We'll cry, we'll laugh, we'll learn, we'll share lessons, and of course then make the journey easier as you acknowledge that you're not the only one. I think that is one thing that we want us to ensure each of us has, to an understanding that you are not alone in this journey. So let us connect. Let us have conversations. Let's unpack. Let's say what we want to say about menopause, be it from the physical issues, spiritual issues, marital issues, divorce issues, and how menopause then comes together as we also nurture our children who may be in adulthood, who may be in teenagers, or if for some of us who still have toddlers or babies, and those who are actually craving to have children during the perimenopausal phase. What does that mean for you? So let's embrace the menopause curve. Let's be honest. Let's be free to ensure that every woman can speak a mind about this journey that we're going through, from perimenopause, menopause, then postmenopausal. I will be sending out or recording a podcast weekly, and we'll send it out on a Friday. But please feel free to engage with me on my Instagram page with the same handle, Embracing the Menopause Curve. There you can even send me DMs and indicate where exactly or what exactly you'd want us to talk about during this podcast. So let's build a community of resilient women who are able to work together, to tackle these issues that we find ourselves in as we are navigating menopause. So let's do it one story at a time, one solution at a time, and of course, one podcast at a time. Thank you so much for listening. Let's walk this journey together.